Good evening, everyone. My name is Adegoke Fadare. I'm running for the president of the Association of Nigerians here in Nova Scotia. I'm excited to be here because it allows me the opportunity to probably be able to clear so many air or so many things that have been said out there. By career, I'm a project manager with the province of Nova Scotia. For those who, in case, who are wondering if I have a job. I also sit on a couple of boards. I sit on the board of the first advisory for Feed Nova Scotia, where we help to channel things about food security. I also sit on what is known as the advisory board for Black Health Affairs in Nova Scotia, where we help with the promotion of healthy living in Nova Scotia. I also have the opportunity to sit on the board of ANS by virtue of being the president of the association. I ran in 2022 because it was important for us to begin to broaden the horizon and to deepen the horizon. These last 2 years, we have spent time broadening the association from what was initially an HRM-based organization to having a provincial spread across the province. That's some of the things that we have done. In the heart of the broadening of that was we created what is known as a website, a functional, versatile e-commerce website. Now our members are able to pay for their membership dues through the website. Not only are they able to pay for their membership, they are able to book for appointments and things like airport pickup. The airport pickup was an innovation that does not cost the association a single cent. It was simply the army of volunteers where we gathered together to pick up people. The user experience that people have is that they book and we pick them up at the airport for free. We provide them the first meal, and we have done this for 82 families since the start of my tenure. Another thing you need to understand is that we also introduced what we call the meet and greet session, which offers the community to welcome these individuals for them to have an orientation about what it means to live in Nova Scotia. And as a result, from the welcoming, they move to what we call the initial training with RBC. And these are some of the things that we have planned. My time is running. It's important for us to recognize that accountability for us is not a buzzword. It's something that we have lived and we have demonstrated throughout these 2 years. Every decision that we have made, we've always made it because there's a budget being approved, either by the board, either by the members. For example, the Nigerian Week that we keep talking about, it was a budget that was not only approved at the board, we presented it to members. Members, we went through with it. People talk about vendor selection. We, for the very first time in the history of the association, created a vendor selection process. It's interesting to note that actually Uche Ivoke was one of the people I tasked with that mandate, which I think the wife of the one of EI who is running for treasurer, with the secretary to come up with a vendor selection process so that we can deal with businesses within Nova Scotia, within Nigerian community in Nova Scotia. That's some of the things we did. We worked throughout the last 2 years, not cherry-picking people, but people who we recognize their business, who had submitted based on certain criteria, certain weighted criteria that we had developed in order to do that. Another thing regarding integrity, it's very important for us to recognize that we have been very open and transparent with the financial. Somebody, for example, said that the report is not audited. One of the things you need to understand is that financial signed official presentation of it is at the AGM. What we have tasked ourselves to do is to ensure that people have it weeks ahead of time so that people can have discussion. It's unfortunate that people have run up and down without calling to verify some of the figures or information or assertions. For example, somebody said, oh, we spent 30-something thousand for food and drinks. They don't understand that the food and drinks was the amount the association paid throughout the year for events like the dinner night of the African dinner, the African barbecue, and the barbecue that we had. That had hundreds and hundreds of people. At the barbecue that hosted about 2,000 people. Those are what we spent the money for when you see food and drinks. These were not things that we began to award contracts to ourselves. These were things we did open. There's transactions, there are traces for everything, for all that we have done. We put proper documentation in process and they were followed. It's unfortunate that people are not aware, and we would educate people in the next few days so that people can understand what we have done. We have led this organization with integrity, and we will continue to do so as long as we have the trust and the buy-in of the people. One of the things that is very clear is the fact that people are talking about things that we are trying to do and we are doing. One of the things that we have done during my leadership was we supported cultural groups like even the Yam Festival. We sponsored the Yam Festival. I was there in person at the Yam Festival. I was honored by the various leaders of that group. It's important for us to recognize that what is happening is not about tribe. We, over the last 2 years, we have supported our people. We have never considered ethnicity. We've never considered religion. We've never even considered tribe in any sort. We have filled, for example, last year we did about tax filing for about 100 Nigerians. We did consider what religion they were or where they were located in Nova Scotia. As long as they were Nigerians, we picked up people at the airport, not considering that. We ensured that people were able to come for our Dare to Dream camp without considering culture, without considering ethnicity. One of the things that is very important, and which is one of the objectives of my second term, is to ensure that culture is domiciled inside ANS. Culture should not be domiciled outside of ANS. It should be domiciled inside of ANS. And there are many things we're getting ready to do, because the building, if elected, the building that we're going to have, which is going to support our businesses, where our business will have an amazing boardroom that will be able to come in to have board meetings, to be able to help their business with virtual office, will also support after school and culture. In that place, we will promote culture. One of the things, if you look at the definition or the responsibility of the association, is to promote culture. And so it's important for us to recognize that we already are trying to do that, and we want to accelerate that. What we have spent the first 2 years doing, when we met the association, there was an enormous work for us to do. We have broadened it. What we are intending to do in the next 2 years is to deepen the association. And some of those things we're going to have are going to be cultural groups. Yes, those cultural groups will be supported by various cultural whatever, but it's going to be domiciled under ANS. And that's what we're getting ready to do. So our children will not lose their culture. They will not lose their sense of identity. We have the idea, we have the roadmap, and we're going to get it done.
Thank you very much, Adegoke.
One of the things that is obvious, I hear a lot of, there's a lot of lack of information or knowledge on certain things. So let me try and help you out a bit. Obviously, we inherited an association that was purely and primarily dues-based, right? And the truth of the matter is, government do not dash you money or simply because you exist. That's not the case. We found a way to be able to get money out of government, and it's because government trusted us. Every single dime that the government has given us, we have accounted for it, and we are also going to account for it with our members at the AGM. It's important to say we have moved the association from just dues-based to what we call the project funding. Where we are going, that's not the destination. The destination is for us to become a settlement service. We are now what we have packaged into what you call a guest or a welcoming society. But we need to get to a settlement society. When we get to that place, we'll have what is known as operational funding, and we'll not have restrictions. Let me explain certain things about grants, because I hear a lot of this. Do you know that the Dare to Dream camp, when we receive the money for grant for it, there are many things we cannot do with it. One, we are not even allowed to buy lunch for volunteers from that Dare to Dream camp. We're not allowed to, not just buy, we're not allowed to buy gift card for so how else do we do that when people are with our children from morning to night and we know what the cost would be? So the way we do that is that we factor in those the charges or those whatever you see as $50. We charge $50 for 2 weeks. You don't find such anywhere else in Nova Scotia. We need to be mindful when we say some of the conversations we say, because it portrays us as being naive. And the amazing thing, and I want to say, especially to all the leaders across the Nigerian leaders across, you have direct access to get right information from me. Nobody, I said not one, whether on this stage or people who are talking things around, have ever called me to seek for clarification, which I would have gladly offered. So when we have grants, our grants many a times have conditions. Some of those grants will have that they will only make provision for about 70%. So I will talk about the bursary. So the bursary amount we gave out was $3,500. And we got that from contributions of members, because there is no government bursary to ANS to give out to members. It was different businesses that endowed those bursaries that we gave out. So if the person is looking at the income statement, probably not looking at the entire picture, maybe looking at a quarter, because the monies came at different points in time. Regarding the 2-year plan, when I was talking about the dreams and the vision for ANS for when I was running 2020, people thought it was impossible. See, I don't want to go into various details of all of the things, but one of the things I can quickly talk to you about is that office space that we're getting ready to have. That office space is going to be a place where new Canadians, that Nigerians that will arrive here, are going to be able to volunteer and be able to have Canadian experience. It's going to be an after school. We're going to have an after school. We're going to have an after school program, which we're going to begin to do. It's going to be an after school that will be able to promote culture clubs. We're starting our sports clubs. Those are some of the things that we're getting ready to do. And they're not things that we're planning to do in 6 months' time or so. It's if I'm re-elected, we're going to start them right here, because I understand the method. I understand the how. now. I know the system. I built the bridges, the connections to be able to draw out those resources. Government does not give you money because you have an idea. That is not why you get money. There's a method to it, and I understand the method, because if it was just about an idea, we would have been getting money since, and they are not giving us money for free. So it's important for us to recognize that what we are getting ready to do, you quoted the figure about 40-something thousand or something for bus. There's nothing such like that. I don't know what that particular figure is, but we gave out 3,500 to 7 different students, and they were endowed by different businesses within the Nigerian Assure that sent, and some individuals gave some of those money. I also personally, as the president, contributed to that 3,500. Just like in 2019 when I came into, I was part of ANS, I ensured that I raised the highest money. And the question we should be asking each and every one of these: where have you been the last 2 years? What contribution have you made to the association, to the development of our association? My father would say it's only a grave digger that starts at the top. Have you started from the bottom? Okay, so when you speak about open communication, the first thing you must ask yourself is, how have you broadened that yardstick so more Nigerians have a voice? Before I became the president of ANS, Nigerians in Sydney Truro were never heard. Nobody sent them. Nobody were interested in them. We created that bridge, and because of that, we have more communication. We created for the first time ANS WhatsApp community group, where every Nigerian can be a part of it. Now we're trying to do it for the ones in Sydney also, because the group is full. We have over 2,000 Nigerians on that group. It's important for us to recognize that our website is also another opportunity. The media reaches out to us because of our website, because they can chat with us and we can receive the messages. We have been very open. We have increased the database of the people on our subscriber base of newsletter, which was about 400 about when we took over. We have about 2,000 people presently on our subscriber base, because we constantly send out message on a weekly basis. We have paused because of this whole process of the election, but we have been doing that. So we've been open with our communication. Another important thing for us to recognize when we talk about openness of communication is the biggest challenge we have with people is that the people that are asking many questions now have never showed up at any meeting. Even the candidate on stage for 2 years, no meeting, no dues. They have never paid dues. He has not paid dues for 2 years. And suddenly, because of an election, he remembers that he can pay dues. It's important for us to recognize that the reason why people that are crying is because they have never shown up. If you show up at our meetings, you will get the answers. It will be a place for open conversations and communication. That is what we have been committed to. We also opened up a direct line through Google Workspace, where people can call us and leave, and people do call us for those before they arrive from Nigeria and the rest. All of these things are already there. The problem I should be asking is, have you accessed this? Have you shown up at a meeting? Have you shown up to come and hear your point of view, rather than trying to be on social media?
Thank you very much.